Now, having been shooting with the Leica Q2, there are a few things I've learned throughout the past 9 or 10 months or so. And there's also some time since the last video I made was like the Leica Q2 first impressions, and my opinions and thoughts have changed a bit, so let's talk about it. But first, let's roll the intro. Hey there, if you're new around here, my name is Andreas and I'm, as a matter of fact, a medical doctor working at the local ER, and besides that, I'm also a husband and a father, and with all of that and the limited hours I have available, I'm actually running this YouTube channel where I talk about all things filmmaking, creative and photography and so on. Everything from the perspective of a person who is limited on time. Now, since getting the Leica Q2, initially, let's talk about the reason I originally got it. That was to get an everyday carry camera, which is easier to bring with me than a regular big-ass Sony mirrorless camera. Also, I was looking for a fixed lens camera to kind of remove the decision-making process of myself, because with the Sony, I never know which lens to bring with me. Well, here the decision is made for me, and that's pretty much why I bought into this camera originally. Also, it was just for me to have a camera to take memories, photos of my family, of the kid growing up and so on. That was like the original intention. Now later, I come to realize that I truly undermined the capabilities of this camera from the perspective of utilizing it like business-wise. If you have even the tiniest slither of entrepreneurship within you, then you can easily monetize the shit out of this camera. Now, first thing about shooting with Leica, it taught to shoot with intention. This was kind of a wake-up moment for me personally, only from the pure sheer file size that this produces. Pair that with the slow as fuck autofocus on this, which by the way it still has. I think the autofocus is completely trash, but the combination of those two taught me to actually stop in a moment, look around, frame the composition already there through the viewfinder, think for a moment, and only then, when you know the shot is going to be good, then you click the shutter button. Now, this is somewhat way different from how I used to shoot when I was shooting with my Sony, and I just were spraying and praying, and then you come to Lightroom only later to realize that actually some of those shots were hits, but most of them were misses. But anyway, I think this is more of a mindset thing, not purely related to Leica being Leica, but it's just a mindset thing. Now, coming in with that is, of course, that I'm always shooting RAW. With the Sony, I was thinking that I need to have a straight out of camera good JPEGs, and I was thinking about the Fuji originally. And I've came to realize that the thing why I want the very fast turnaround is because I was shooting like a shitload of photos. Now, when you're shooting with the Leica and you're shooting with intention, this applies to any camera. Editing the photos to perfection isn't a hassle when you're only taking the shots that truly count. The JPEGs with the film looks that you get out of this camera, I wouldn't say they're trash, they're nothing special. From that, we actually get to point number 2, that the JPEGs out of these cameras, it has their time and place, and most often it's never. The only reasons and the situations I've been shooting straight out of camera JPEGs was, of course, initially when testing it out, but now later on is if I'm out on after work with my colleagues or something, I'm carrying this with me and I want to have photos that I want to share directly with my colleagues without any kind of tweaking on Lightroom Mobile or anything. That's literally the only situation where I'm shooting JPEGs, just so I can fast as fuck transfer them to my phone and fast as fuck send them to the group chat, and that's it. And point number 3 being about the ergonomics. I was initially saying that the ergonomics are terrible on the Q2, and now a few months later they still are. However, I have grown to accept it. You can't change it. Stop making it into a Sony. So I removed the extra thumb grip, I removed the extra base plate with the grip on front, and accepted that this camera has shitty ergonomics, but it's a tool and I've grown accustomed to use the tool however it is. and that's it. How it feels in your hand doesn't affect the outcome of the pictures or anything. So next point. Throughout all of this time, I've been in fact shooting all of the time with a mist filter on it. Now, I do like the very crisp and clean image you get out of it without any kind of filter applied. However, I prefer the slightly more softer look from it when you're having a quarter mist or like 1/4 of a mist, which I'm now having on it. And especially when you're shooting in low light conditions and you have some lights or something and you get this small cinematic haze or bloom out of all of the highlights. It's a personal preference and it's a style that I do like, and I can't see myself anytime soon removing that mist filter. Now, moving on to point 4 is about the focal length of 28mm. Truly is. It's the focal length that truly divides those people who are actually capable photographers and those who want to be. And those who want to be capable photographers just use a tight focal length and bokeh the shit out of everything, and pretty much anything you place in front of the lens turns out to look good. However, the 28mm, it's harsh in a way that you can't romanticize anything with this focal length because it shows everything in front of the lens purely as how it looks. Surely you can, and I do a ton of times, crop into 35 or 50mm in post or in camera already, but still the 28mm, it's a challenging focal length. However, it feels like I've also learned quite a lot on how to frame the 28mm because it's not easy. You'll have to learn it the hard way. And now that I've been having it, I'm glad I did. And final thing is that when I got it, I was afraid of how much money I spent on it, and I was ready to baby the camera in order to preserve the resale value in case I ever want to get rid of it. However, after being part of the Leica forums on groups on Facebook, I've come to find also this a kind of love for not only the resale value, but also the love of the historical value that you get on a camera. And by having the Leica, not treating it or not babying it, let the wear and tear show up on it when you're using it, let that patina show on it. It adds character to the camera. It's a tool after all, you're supposed to use it. I was afraid of the first scratches on it, but now that it starts to have these small signs of wear, I wish it had brass body instead of this magnesium alloy body, which will start to show through as clear metal instead of the brass color. But still, there's just something when the camera gets this sign of wear and you know that it's been through whatever you have put it through. If there's anything you learned from owning a Leica or thinking about all this, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you're living a busy life, working full-time and trying to build something creative alongside all of that, make sure to subscribe because I make videos just for you. Thanks for riding fences with me today, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!